Hey everyone, welcome to Omni Rewatch. And this is the only Ben 10 podcast out at the moment. And please, for the love of God, do not try to rip us off. I am everyone's favorite history teacher, Professor Berg. And joining us today is everyone's favorite donut false advertising, Ramen Retrospect.
Well, fuck. Hey, my name is Ramen. What's up?
Then we have the main green man himself, the cool ShadeX.
Hello.
And joining us for a special appearance today is the great editing snowman himself, the great Geek Tunes.
Thank you. I've been on the couch for days.
Unfortunately, our lovely Kai, she couldn't make it today, but as always, we always miss her, and she'll be back soon.
Miss you, Kai. If you guys don't know,
miss you, Kai. We miss you.
If you guys don't know, because this is a big what if episode, we're gonna let Berg sort of take the lead a little bit. That's why he did the little introduction. But before we get to what we gotta talk about, because this episode's a pretty big funny one, let me read the description. That's right, Professor Ramen's in the house. I'm sorry.
Man, he's doing your whole flow word for word, both
When Ben wakes up one morning, he finds the Omnitrix is missing from his arm, and Gwen and Max have no idea what he's talking about. When he asks about it, Ben soon discovers that he is reliving the day he found the Omnitrix, but in an alternate reality. At the campsite, Ben tries to find the Omnitrix as it crashes to Earth, only to find out that Gwen has already found it. Gwen quickly adjusts to the Omnitrix's powers, but uses the Omnitrix much more than required. And when Vilgax attacks, she finds the Omnitrix is discharged, and will take some time before it becomes usable. She is captured, but is saved by Ben and Max, which involves the Omnitrix detaching itself from Gwen and attaching to Max, to which the trio escapes from the ship and finishes Vilgax off. Why was that a word from word? That's like a word for... That's not even a summary. That's like a word from word what happened in the episode, but...
I mean,
that was read like a ramen retrospective video.
That was a very... No, come on, man. I get more...
Alright then, so boys, what do you...
I made you read that like a ramen retrospective video.
True.
Anyway, so basically, alright boys, so what you thought of this episode here? Let's start with the ramen first.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought this episode was pretty good, having like the dynamic of Gwen with the Omnitrix and seeing how like she uses it, but she uses it just as irresponsible as Ben would use it, so there's almost like no difference between the two. But I do say that like Gwen like learns how to use the Omnitrix a little bit quicker than Ben. That's like the only difference, is that she automatically knows how to use the power, and it took Ben a few like weeks, maybe months, to learn how to use the Omnitrix. So I say, if Gwen, because this is a what if, I think I like the idea of Gwen having the Omnitrix too. Even to an extent, Grandpa Max knows how to use the Omnitrix. I like that too. I don't know, man. I just got Grandpa energy with that watch, bro. Just killing bad guys. Even Grandpa Max loved the feeling of it. It was just nice seeing him happy for once, you know, and kicking ass with a watch with the powers of the Omnitrix. You know?
I see. Alright then, next on the thoughts list, that would be you, Shade.
I really like the episode. It was a fun what if. I like what if stories, like what Marvel does, and this is clearly a tribute to that. Like the comic book in the intro, like alludes to that. I like what if comics, so this is a good episode. Like I really like how they give Gwen different alien designs than Ben's, like female versions of the aliens.
I didn't copy and paste.
And I know there are a lot more in Omniverse later down the road, because I saw some pictures.
Kind of glad they didn't copy and paste it like they did with the Kevin 11 episode, where they just
Yeah, like
the aliens.
Yeah, they didn't copy paste.
No.
And yeah, I like this what if story because you think it's gonna lead to Ben getting the watch, but Max gets the watch, but Ben still has like skills. He knows how to operate plumber weaponry now, so
Yeah.
it's an interesting Elseworld story. I get why they made Ben like remember stuff from the show because I guess they wanted to give the kid audience familiarity. Like they didn't want them to be thrown off too much. But it's a good Elseworld story.
I don't think it's gonna even continue to the next episode. I think that was just.
It's clearly an Elseworld story. I guess it's what if Ben was thrown into this universe and like things changed.
I would have. Let's hear Geeks first. You Berg, you say it.
Yeah, okay. Force of habit on your part, huh?
Yeah.
But, all right.
He's too used to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I'm taking the reins. Hey, you're the one who gave me the reins, bro.
True.
So I'm using the best I can. But no, Geek, what was your thoughts on this episode?
Overall, I thought the episode was pretty good because I think this is one of those episodes that I saw like rerun like to hell and back back in the day. So my memory of this episode is like a lot more fresh than usual. Yeah, honestly, like as a what if story, it does ship pretty well. Although I could have done without like Ben just like adding on to like, oh wait, yeah, she did it. Yeah, Max would just go like, oh yeah, she did it pretty well. And then he's like, no, but I can do it better. I did it better when I had the Omnitrix. Like,
yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up. I know this is like some of what if, but I would have preferred if they didn't have Ben remember anything and just like play like a what if episode.
I get why they.
It's because none of that continues to the next episode. If you're gonna do a what if, have it be a fresh story where like it's.
Yeah, it really should have. Like it would have been more interesting. Like I get why they wrote it that way because I guess they thought, but like if they wanted to treat kids like adults, they would have made it like a complete fresh what if. They would like if they really wanted to do a what if, they should have done that. Like because there's no Ben waking up from a dream.
No, there's not.
Like Max gets the Omnitrix. It's like clearly like Ben's going in a different direction. Like there's some aspects I kind of like about it, like Ben playing hero because he has the familiarity, and then with everything. But he ends up being a hero in a different way. I really love that, but
that's great. I like that too, but I think my issue is him. It's because in this instance, it's Ben being like very like. I know he wants to be a hero, but it's him like being a little bit annoying with like, oh, I can do that better.
Yeah.
I know the watch better. I'm like, now he's like the. Almost Gwen now in a way. Like, and like like Gwen's now the Ben and like but like the only difference is Ben knows how to use the watch even though he doesn't have it. It's not now Ben's the annoying one if I'm being honest with this.
Yeah, he really is.
It's just a full 180. Like
basically. But no, I actually do agree with you. I do agree with everything you guys said here. This was a very fun episode. I did like it a lot. It was nice to see what happened. Gwen got the Omnitrix, which shows that she's actually a lot more capable. But at the same time, I do agree. Like this should have just been like Ben should not have remembered what happened. I think it's because actually it does just make it more annoying. And honestly, I would say this. It does kind of make. I know Shade said like. Oh, this is only to not make the kids, like, because, at the time, like, on Cartoon Network was more, like, episodic shit, so it's like, oh, well, if someone comes in with this is the first episode, and, like, they'll get confused, but I'm like, it only makes confusion even more, because it's like, because even in the beginning, they said, like, hey, this is different, from our main continuity. So just note that we are like
true.
with the comic. They just say like, "Hey, we are. This is a different story. We're gonna tell a different way." And they could, and if they actually were willing to trust their audience, it says like, "Hey." But instead, by making Ben remember, it first of all, it kind of creates this weird, I want to say Mandela effect, but it's just like, okay, so he remembers, but how does he remember? Did he get transported here? Is he like is he dreaming this? Like
None of those
there's
questions are
just so
answered.
many
None of that.
exactly, and I heard like you guys say it's not going to be answered in the next episode.
I'm gonna bring this up because it's related. I know Danny Phantom did a storybook episode where like it actually was actually good because at the end it does build up to something. It does build up with Danny learning a lesson. But at this, I know it's a what if scenario, but it's a storybook, comic book type of thing. But it doesn't add up, doesn't build up to anything, and doesn't add up to anything. And this is a perfect episode. The only thing holding it back is that I wish Ben did not remember anything because it's like really annoying. It like you do if you're gonna do a storybook episode, have all the characters and do it like that. Especially if you're gonna do a what if. I would have preferred maybe like if you're gonna make Ben remember, just have everybody remember and just like do an actual storybook episode where like Ben doesn't have the watch, but they all remember it, and then Gwen somehow gets the watch. Instead of this, they do a storybook episode, but they go back to the pilot, and now it's just weird. Ben's remembering it. I think Danny if I'm being honest, Danny Phantom did it better with the storybook one. Also, the narrator, like, why is there a narrator? It doesn't build up to anything either because doesn't need to be a narrator at all. Could it just end the episode like
I
that?
think if I'm not wrong, wait, when did wait? So correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know comic books that well, but like when was Marvel's like what if like ever a comic series? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes. Okay. So I'm a huge Marvel Comics fan, so I can answer that question. So yes, during the 70s, there was a Marvel What If story. There was a bunch of comics that came out. They said like, oh, what if Spider-Man was in Fantastic Four? What if Jane Foster was, or like, what if Doctor Doom was the good guy? Like, there is a lot of.
There we go. I feel like it was a reference to that. Because the thing is, right? Ben 10 as a show, and this is the thing. This is one of the only few things I actually remember from its production. Ben 10 as a show from the very beginning. Like, of course, the goals changed, right? But like from the very beginning, when it was being developed, it was supposed to be a throwback to a lot of the classical shows, not shows, but like classical comics, like Dial H for Hero, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling, I might be wrong about this, but I get the feeling the reason they had that narrator in there was to be a reference to Marvel's What If comics. Otherwise, the fucking Elseworld comic from DC, because I don't know those like had like a 70s version or 90s version.
Elseworld comics are a little bit more. They're a little bit more weird. Okay,
Recent.
so I'm gonna. Okay, got it. Okay, like I'm a huge. Like I said, I'm also a huge DC comic fan. So Elseworld. So DC's a little bit more complicated because it's like. It's less about Elseworld stories back then and more like different universes. Like it was like an Earth. There was like an Earth 1, Earth 2, blah blah blah. Like different parallel universes. It's kind of complicated, but basically, you could say it was kind of like their what if or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely it was. Yeah, this was more in line with those comic books. There,
It's an homage. Then
yeah, basically, yeah. In fact, as mentioned before, the watch, like I said, the narrator's actually a reference. I mentioned this before in the recording, not recording, the watch. He's a reference to the watch. You know, the big head, bald dude who's just watching everything.
Okay.
And it's like, so, and honestly, I would have. Again, this is one of my biggest things. I think this is my biggest issue with a lot of Ben 10 at the moment, from what I keep hearing. Is that they set up these storylines and these characters, but half of them don't have a payoff. Not saying that they don't, like they're not. There's something definitely that do, but you have all these things like like last episode we had. I think it was Lieutenant Steele, was it? Like the guy who was.
We had Agent Steele, and he was like a really cool antagonist.
We never see him again until much later, and then we're just like. There's like the Zambozo. There's just a lot, and I would like to see like, hey, I don't know if Benton has their own version. Like, there's this all eternal. I know that in like Alien Force, like they get a little bit more cosmic.
We got
and a
Professor
bit more.
Paradox. We got Professor
Yeah,
Paradox. If we can see it in a way where like maybe Professor Paradox is what we know now. Professor Paradox is maybe reading this as a what if scenario for a different universe, because technically Gwen 10 is canon, so maybe Professor Paradox is just reading this and like it's a different universe. That's how I see it. So it's like Professor Paradox is like the Watcher. He's like the Doctor Who of the universe. He knows all these universes on the back of his hand. So that's how I see it. Now, if I'm
that's my head canon for this episode.
Because if this was a generic what if episode that didn't really matter, Gwen 10 wouldn't be canon in that universe. But this is a canon universe. I mean,
multiverses do exist, like in the Ben 10 universe. So
definitely. But I hear I supposed to hear some of the comics. I supposed to hear some of the comics that inspired this kind of stuff right here.
Exactly. See, this is what I meant.
Oh.
See, throw back to the, because like I said from the very beginning, Ben 10 was meant to be a throwback to those like kind of like old school like 60s, shows, like shows and comics like these. And also Dial H for Hero. Very big inspiration, Dial H for Hero.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. That's why like the original concepts. That's why in the original concept art for Ben 10, like most of the heroes kind of look like more humans than aliens.
I feel.
Yeah, I really love the What If comics from Marvel. I know, like some of them were even successful enough.
Yeah, no,
to, like, get
and of course
spin-offs. Like Spider-Girl was a What If first.
And also, again, we still see the What If with the MCU stuff as well for the Disney. That's on Disney Plus. So it's definitely there. It's definitely there. Though this stuff all came out first. So
Berg.
Yeah.
You know what's next.
Okay then. So let's get that out the way. All right then. So that's the case. Then we all talk about the MVP. Who was the best alien here in this episode? And honestly, this one's gonna be a bit tricky.
This is tricky.
This one's really confusing. I was gonna tell you, Berg. I'm like, this one's a bit confusing because it's Gwen. It's not Ben. They are considered alien transformations. They were fighting, so we have to consider them.
So they were like more of the episode was spent on like the humans though.
What? Well,
no, definitely. Okay, there's five aliens that adhere to this one. So four for Gwen. So at first she turns into Heat Blast, then she turns into Gray Matter, then she turns into Diamond Head, and then she turns to Forearms. And for the final alien, it's Grandpa Max. It's the Omnitrix. She turns to Upgrade. So which also was a very cool movement as well.
Can I go first with this one?
Sure, go for it.
I'm gonna say MVP, and I know a lot of people like all the Gwen aliens, but MVP is definitely Max's Gray Matter. Not Max's Upgrade. I mean Max's Upgrade. He looked like he was having the time of his fucking life, I
can get used to this. So
yeah, I'm gonna say MVP of this one was Max as fucking Upgrade, and just like him controlling the RV, and just like I like that. I would say Diamond Head Gwen too for MVP, but I'm like full on like Max for the Omnitrix MVP right there for me.
Yeah, Diamond Head for Gwen, and Max as Upgrade was really cool. Like he ended up saving the day. So those two.
And Geek.
God damn it, this is hard to pick. This is gonna be tough because, like, again, those aliens showed up for like maybe maximum 3 minutes during the fights. Minimum like 5 seconds.
We encounter this all the time on the podcast when we try to rank these, because there's one where like Ben was just switching to alien. We're like, how the fuck do we rank this?
What I'm gonna go against the grain here. MVP is Grandpa Max as a whole.
Yeah, I know it. Yes.
Not even including transformations. It's just him as a whole. Grandpa Max is the GOAT.
No, for real, he was a fucking like, as always, he was a fucking badass, sexy badass in this
Yeah.
show, in this episode. Like, the fact is, also, what's funny is that when I forgot to mention, when Ben was talking about the Omni tricks, he's like, I was playing Bill Gex, like, and Grandma, like, fucking his, he just like almost,
PTSD.
it's like, oh god, the Warriors, they're back.
Grandpa Max was having severe PTSD. He's like, Vilgax, don't say my trigger word, Ben.
So the funny thing, when Diamond Head Gwen was going on, he's like, everyone goes, "Who is that? Like, who's that alien monster?" Like, that's not a monster. That's my granddaughter. I'm like, no, way to expose your granddaughter. But to be fair, yeah, and it is possible that Grandpa Max did fuck one of the Diamond Head species, so a female Diamond Head. So it's possible.
This seems like a universe where Grandpa Max does not know how to fucking keep a secret.
Nah.
Because plumbers are just like. Plumbers are just like fucking they're just general knowledge at this point. They're just common knowledge.
It took almost an entire season for him to reveal he was a plumber, and this one, in this timeline of sorts, it took him one conversation with Ben, Gwen getting captured, and Grandpa Max, I'm a plumber. All the gadgets just start coming out. I'm like,
just get his just like gun. Just like, here, take this. Here, take this. Here's this highly dangerous weapon. You're 10 years old. You're old enough to use this.
I pointed this out, but like, no, listen. In the context of like him going off to fight off literally one of the biggest fucking threats to plumber and Earth history, it makes sense, right? You need to arm. Like, you're telling me, Berg, that like if you had a child and your child was off to like, go fight your fucking biggest op, and this fucking op is like armed to the fucking teeth, you wouldn't give them a weapon.
I'm only in certain situations.
Exactly. That's one of those certain situations. That's what I mean. Like, listen, but like, I'll point this out. Though Max is a dick for that one because like you guys saw the episode, right? We all sat together and Carl watched this episode. This motherfucker pulled out of the truck with a full on, like, pretty much a minigun, fucking virtual reality goggles, slight armor, and he gave Ben the equivalent of the fucking noisy cricket. That's great. So if Ben dies, it's on you, dickhead.
Don't worry, he has luck on his side for some. No, he's not doing that. Yeah, this. But yo, Gwen. Remember we talk shit. I think the four of us, we all talk shit on Gwen last podcast.
The last episode I was here, funnily enough.
Yeah, there was also some. There was also some clips on our shorts, but yeah, Gwen was really annoying on the last episode, and but this one, I find her I actually like her in this one because like he's as cocky as Ben with the Omnitrix. Like, she knows, and the fact that they gave her that like skill level where like makes her different from Ben, like she immediately knows how to use the watch. She immediately knows how to fucking use all the powers. Like but Gwen was definitely, this episode kind of like saved me, and like I kind of like Gwen this episode. Ben unfortunately became the Gwen in a way where it's not necessarily he was snarky, but it was more like I know how to use the watch better than you guys.
I don't know Ramen. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know Ramen. I feel like it was made more annoying than Gwen in some cases because like, Gwen took down that monster by herself. So did I. Like, shut the fuck up.
Again, this is why Ben should have not had his memory. Like, this should have been an entirely separate universe with him.
Yeah. Paradox.
Yeah, like then again, do you want to see like the same episode take place, but like with different characters in like different positions? Do you really want to see a repeat of episode 1?
This was a repeat of episode 1, but
this is a repeat.
No, like it's a repeat of episode 1 with like it's a repeat of episode 1 with like extra fucking detail. I'll say that much.
Also with elements of what was it? Season 1 of the season 1 finale, was it? Like, when they fight Bill guy. Yeah, it was a mixture of the first and last episode of season 1.
They combine a lot of things from this one. But yeah, Berg, I think you know what's not.
Oh, yeah, so basically, yeah, back to the whole thing. So, Keith, what was your thoughts on like? That's right, my thoughts on the various aliens. So yeah, I gotta give it to Diamond and Gwen was definitely a very treat to see. It was definitely one. Like I would definitely give that to her. Definitely able to take down that robot.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Grandpa Max being turned to upgrade was just one of the greatest things there. So definitely good. So
Yep.
overall, I think we're all in agreement on who was the MVP on this episode.
Grandpa next.
Grandpa
Of
Max.
course. Now then, boys, how would you rate this episode per se? Like, how many we are up to 10? Was it 10 Omnitrixes now?
10 Omnitrixes, yeah. We're
All right, and how many? All right, how many Omnitrixes do you guys rate this?
I'm gonna rank it 1 out of 8. Only 8 because of the Ben remembering stuff got annoying, but I think this is a good episode overall.
So 8 out of 10. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You said 1. You said 1 out of 8. So I'm like, wait, what?
8 out of 8. Sorry.
What kind of ranking system is that?
My bag. 8 out of 10. Oh, maybe
I was about to say like,
Yeah.
wait, then it's like this is a shitty episode. Okay, goddamn.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Jade, you said you were gonna. What was your now?
Yeah, I agree. Like I was gonna say 9, but yeah, 8 out of 8 out of
8 out of 10.
I guess yeah, 8 out of 10 because of the weird like writing where Ben remembers. Like what ifs work better when it's completely new and fresh take on like I still like the episode, and they like Ben learned his lesson at the end of it that he can be skilled with alien weaponry. He can be a plumber in training essentially.
Yeah. See, I like that for him. And if
I did like that. It's like I don't think the Ben knowing everything is terrible, but the episode would be way better without it.
Yeah, that brings it down to an 8. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like maybe they could write it differently where he's not like he doesn't know, he's jealous of the powers. They could still have tell that story. Without him knowing about the watch and being smug about, oh, I know it better than you do. Like they could.
I feel like they have like the dream sequence technically.
Oh yeah, the dreams. There's the
dream episode.
The dream episode. Yeah, that one's. There's also one that's kind of like a what, but it's Ben. Vilgax has Ben trapped. We'll get to that episode, guys. But geek.
I guess 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Like I mean, it's not like the best episode. Like honestly, like I have a few that I do consider my favorites, and this is definitely not one of them. It's not an episode that I would go back to rewatch, of course. Fucking, not even because of like anything. It's literally because like it's just not super interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe for like a first time viewer, but like I said before, this is literally one of those episodes that I kept getting rerun over and over and over back when like Ben 10 was like huge.
So bro's just like, I am tired of seeing this fucking episode. I've seen
actually, bro, like my favorite episode was literally like the one like where they had to like work together to defeat like multiple villains at once. That was like amazing. That's literally my favorite episode of like the whole OG series. This doesn't come close to it. I'm sorry.
I feel you, bro. Honestly, I would say the same thing. Actually, I can agree with Geek on this one. I would say 7 out of 10. It's a good episode. But unfortunately, with Ben remembering, and also the fact that while it's a nice little one-off episode, it's not really mandatory viewing. It's just like, it's one of those episodes you would watch if you were, say, interested. But I would not. But overall, not really crucial to the story. Maybe with the exception of, it does come back, and I believe, was it in Omniverse? Was it? It does make a comeback. It has a callback in Omniverse. But aside from that, but like a lot of things in Ben 10, which is again one of my biggest gripes with Ben 10, is that a lot of stuff should have been talked about like somewhere like either in later seasons or even in the Alien Force Ultimate Alien era. It's kind of just gone for like another like 10 years until like Omniverse comes in. And even then, that's like kind of pushing back. That's kind of pushing it there a bit. So I would definitely give it a 7 out of 10. Good episode, but not necessary.
And with that, Berg, what do you want me?
All right then.
I'll take the reins on the. I'll do the outro and I will give you compliments on this. Holy fuck! If I was sick and I had a terrible case of Lyme disease or some shit, I'd give you the reins, my man. This was actually a good, solid one.
I really appreciate that.
Guys, this was a kind of our what if episode of sorts. But also, I think if I do get sick and I can't do the pod, and I'm like, yo guys, would you guys be able to record an episode? Berg's a guy. Berg's a guy. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope. What's up?
I was just gonna make a joke, and just like that, Ramen dies from an unknown disease.
Berg, I give you my will and testament. You are owner of the Omni Rewatch podcast.
He hands over like the keys to his room.
Then I'm just gonna run to the ground because I'm kind of lazy. I just like, whatever.
Wow, the keys to Omni Rewatch. I'm gonna run this place into the ground.
Oh, it'd be funny if because
the building just burns on fire.
It'd be funny because it's like a what if podcast episode. I'm gonna cut this part of me saying this out because it would not. It'd be a lot funnier. Instead of me being in the intro of this podcast, Berg, I'm gonna put you in the intro of this podcast since this is a what if.
That looks nice.
Yeah,
you just fucking add his fucking icon to on the rewatch animation.
I just have his icon just pop up in title card because I want to kind of what if because it's a what if thing. With that, guys, this was another what if. Not even another what if. This is another Omni Rewatch podcast. We hope you enjoy. My name is Ramen. That's ShadeX. This is our amazing Professor Berg, and that is our awesome guest, the Geek Tunes. Kai, we hope to see you again. I hope you're listening to this. You're awesome. With that, you guys have a good night, Omni Rewatchers. Peace.